I want to talk today about creating intimacy with our feelings, with our emotions. Mindfulness techniques and programs like 12-step programs endeavor to assist us in cultivating what's called emotional intelligence. And in 12 steps specifically, I remember hearing something along the lines of, and I really love this slogan. 12 steps is really big about slogans. And slogans are similar to sutras in that they're a smaller phrase embodying a larger message or a larger teaching. And the slogan is, feelings aren't facts. If you've ever heard that one before, feelings are not facts. And that's not to suggest that what you might be feeling isn't right or isn't real. It suggests that your feelings are messengers, not ultimate truths in and of themselves. For example, you may feel like you're in danger, but not really be in danger. Maybe you're just watching violence on television and the feeling of danger comes over you. You can thank your frontal lobe and your neocortex for that. And that's the interesting thing. We have this very sophisticated machinery in the frontal lobe and the neocortex of the brain, but it also has the power to trick and disserve us sometimes, right? Because we haven't developed a strong enough discernment and intelligence around it. Hi, Kathy. By entertaining the notion that feelings aren't facts, we become more curious, more willing to allow and explore our feelings, right? Because they're not as threatening when we just consider them as invitations, right? As opposed to ultimate truths. And consider you grow up learning to deny and suppress or be punished for or develop shame around and fear around certain emotions, right? You're told you're not allowed to cry, you're not allowed to be afraid, you're not allowed to be angry, or such a thing is not becoming of a boy or a girl, right? You'd start to develop a habit of resistance to those particular emotions. And they no longer serve as messengers. Instead, they serve as handicaps, impediments. As a result, you develop no intelligence and no discernment around those particularly resisted emotions. You get to develop no understanding around the experience and the reason behind that emotion and its purpose. And a shadow of illusion and misunderstanding starts to surround that feeling or that emotion. Okay? Think about maybe some of those that may apply to you. An emotion or a feeling is a guidepost or a messenger. And to have no intelligence or no discernment around your feelings or your emotions is like trying to read a traffic sign in a foreign language that you don't understand, that you can't read, that you can't interpret. And in that context, the traffic sign serves as no benefit to help you navigate your path, right? Because you can't understand it, you can't read it. The best you can only do is misinterpret, misunderstand, and make assumptions about what that guidepost, or in this example, what that feeling or that emotion is all about. And here's an example of a misunderstanding of an emotion based on resistance to it, right? Say your early childhood experiences of love and connection were traumatically severed by the experience of abandonment. Let's also say that you never opened yourself up to resolve that emotional wound. You denied it, you shut it down, you buried it, or you were told you had to. Likely during times in your life moving forward, if opportunities for love and connection presented themselves to you, you might have misinterpreted the accompanying feelings and emotions associated with that, with fear, resistance, avoidance, and likely sabotage. Because you are lacking the intelligence and discernment around the feelings that are coming up because of the resistance that you've been employing since the time of that traumatic event. So how do we develop more intelligence and more discernment around our feelings and emotions? How do we dismantle some of this misguided behavior around resisted emotions and experiences? We cultivate willingness, availability, and curiosity. And how do we do that, right? Feelings aren't facts is a great way to start. Acknowledging that when an uncomfortable or resisted or threatening feeling comes up, recognize that it is not necessarily expressing fact to you. And when you can say, all right, this is a feeling, not a fact. Why is this feeling coming up? Maybe you can start asking yourself through willingness and exploration, when was the first time I recall having this association with this feeling? What assumptions do I hold around this emotion or this feeling? And in doing so, in exploring that with willingness, curiosity, and innocence, we start to create an intelligence around the fear and the false beliefs, right? Because there's a deeper exploration going on here. Once we can start to soften our resistance to feelings and emotions that are threatening or uncomfortable, we can unveil some of the fears and false assumptions and false beliefs that are accompanying them. The more intelligence and the more discernment is created around our emotions. They start to be useful guideposts and messengers to guide us on our path, as opposed to obstacles and impediments, things we trip over. Right? In the context of someone who fears love due to abandonment and fears connection due to previous abandonment, they can start to, through this willingness, through this exploration of their feelings, start to allow, maybe slowly, love, connection back into their lives and benefit from its presence as opposed to pushing it away. Now, not saying that that is everyone's experience, fear of love due to abandonment, but there are, undoubtedly, for every single person in this room, one or a handful of uncomfortable, frightening, threatening emotions that come up for us from time to time, and we resist them. And through the resisting of them, we are shutting down our intelligence and our awareness. We're preventing evolution in the cultivation of higher consciousness. So I encourage everyone, like when those emotions come up, maybe just see if you can set a program in your mind right now that when uncomfortable emotions come up, or ones that I tend to push away or shut down, moving forward from today, I'm going to actually lean into it with a little bit more curiosity, with a little bit more availability to see what lies beneath that resistance. Because what lies beneath that resistance is the availability of healing, of evolving, of transcending, yeah?